Thank you for calling the Walnut Creek Police Department. If this is an emergency, press 1 now. Information about police department services and answers to many questions can be found at www.walnutcreekpd.com. If you know the 4-digit extension of the person you would reach, please wait while I transfer your call.
Walnut Creek Police, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Who's the CO on duty today?
What's the CO?
Sorry?
What's the CO?
CO, yes.
I don't know what that is. Are you looking for a sergeant?
Is that the commanding officer?
The sergeant is in charge right now.
Okay, then, all right, that would be the commanding officer, yes. Is he available?
It looks like he's out in the car. Can I help you with something?
Well, actually, I'd like to talk to the sergeant, if you could be so kind as to have him call me. I had a delivery person attempt to come in my house, and since I have a contract out on me and have had 2 attempts on my life, I'm a little bit nervous, and I'm also armed, and had he came in my house, had he been successful, we'd have a dead body. So you might want to have him give me a buzz.
Okay. Can I have an officer contact you? It doesn't sound like something that the sergeant's going to take us would go through an officer.
Okay, yeah, have an officer call me, please.
Okay. What is your address?
Okay, I don't want one showing up at my door because...
I didn't say I would send them to the door. I just need to create an event in order to have an officer call you, and we go by the address to know what sector to send for the officer.
All right, hold on.
So have them call you. So were you recording, and then when you gave me your address, you stopped recording?
That's correct.
Gotcha. What's your name?
Tim Anderson,
And your phone number?
925-330-9185.
I'll have someone call you as soon as I can.
Thank you. And your name, please?
Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye.
Hello, Tim here.
Walnut Creek PD. How you doing?
Not bad. How are you doing?
I'm good. How can I help you today, sir?
What did you say your name was?
Officer Famer?
F-A-M-E-R?
No, Famer. B as in boy, O-E-M-E-R.
Okay. And your badge number?
It's P as in Paul, 550.
Okay. Officer Bamer, thanks for getting back to me. I appreciate it. I had a delivery person, and, well, actually, I think regardless of the context, which is not good, for me anyway, I've been exposing this cult online. In fact, it's a cult that is trafficking, elements of this cult is trafficking children out of Acalanes and Las Lomas. I know this.
Okay.
And so, in any case, they're very dangerous, and they have a contract out on me, but even besides that context, if a delivery guy comes to your house and tries to open your door, and I have one of those bars, the door wasn't locked. However, I have one of those bars under the door, so he wasn't able to open it. And I can't remember how I got the heads up. Probably the dog barking, I believe. I don't remember the doorbell ringing, but I do remember the dog barking. So that was probably my doorbell with my dog. And so, in any case, I'm watching, and I'm a little bit gun-shy because of this contract that this Jew cult, actually, and my children are Jewish, by the way, so before you start thinking, hey, that's anti-Semite bullshit.
Right.
So, in any case, let's see, where was I? He tried to push his way into the door. I had asked that an officer not come to my house, but I think it probably would be a good idea to try and identify who that was, because it was an Amazon delivery truck, plain white, but I did later go out and see that there was a package there, so it was probably a delivery guy. But why he would try to push my door open, and he's very lucky he wasn't successful.
Okay.
Because I'm a little bit
What?
head shy, as you can probably
Right.
imagine. I've had 2 attempts, 2 Boston brake jobs, and in any case, I'm a little bit head shy, and I'm a very good shot. And I don't aim; I aim for the face. So if he had been successful, if I hadn't had that bar there, you'd have a dead body on your hands. I'm not going to wait.
Okay.
They don't send little girls to kill you. These people are very serious, and they even can use elements of the police department. That's how much money. They have no limits on money. They are
Right.
they are the money. So they can buy whoever the hell they want, and they don't send little girls. They certainly wouldn't send one after me because they know me very well, and they know that I'm a marksman. And in any case, I'm trying to figure out what I can do. It's a little bit unnerving, but unless he was wearing gloves, his fingerprint, and he had to have turned the doorknob, I think. I don't know, maybe it wasn't latched all the way, so I guess it's possible that he doesn't have fingerprints on the doorknob, but I think that an explanation, considering especially the context, or even without, why a delivery guy would try to push the door open. I mean,
Do you remember what company the delivery service was?
Well, it was it had no logo. It was a plain white van.
Plain white van. Okay.
But it was Amazon, according to the package that was there, and I'm pretty sure it was today. I didn't go out yesterday, so it's possible that it's unrelated.
Right.
He was wearing one of those orange, that you see road workers wearing?
Yeah, like a construction vest or something like that.
Yeah, a don't run over me vest?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in any case, and I would actually recognize him because I did peek out the window for some reason when he got to his van, and there was more than one person in the van, which is sort of odd in and of itself. I mean, even the UPS guys generally are alone. They jump out of the truck, they drop the package, ring the doorbell, and they don't even slow down. They just keep going back to the truck just to let you know, by the way, you have a package. We don't need to see you. Just, here's your package, and they go off, so if you're there, you go out and get it. Well, this guy made some
Tim,
serious...
were you home by yourself, or do you live by yourself, or is there anybody else there with you, your family or anything like that?
No, I live here alone.
Okay.
Why?
And this all happened today, right?
Correct.
Has anything like this happened before? Have you called us regarding somebody trying to get in your house before, or?
No.
No, this is the first time?
Yeah, that's correct. This has never happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's uncommon that somebody trying to break into your house would happen during the day. Usually it doesn't happen on weekends, but I'm not saying that this didn't happen. I mean, on my end, I mean, it'd be different if somebody was physically trying to break down your door or break a window. Then it would be attempted burglary. Did you actually watch them try the door? You just kind of heard the door?
No, I watched him pushing on my bar. I would not have called you. He was pushing on, one of those bars that you put under the doorknob?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have. The door was not locked, but I had the bar under there, and he was pushing on the bar. And had he known what was on the other side of that door, he wouldn't have done that. But he's very lucky that that bar was there, because had he come in, I would have shot him. And I'm not going to wait for him to go for his comb. There's somebody trying to kill me. They're very serious, very good. And I'm not going to. I'd rather avoid that if I could.
No, but I would much rather have you give us a call. Call 911. Say, hey, there's somebody trying to get into my house. Well, obviously, you're able to defend yourself and defend your home. I'm not saying to not do that, but when something like this is happening in progress, you need to let us know. That way we can come out and try and figure out what's going on. You know what I mean?
Well, I do, but there are so few of you, and unfortunately, I know exactly who this is now. I've actually been able to finger exactly who it is. They're the Lost Tribe of Dan, quote unquote. And they're feathered into WCPD and FBI and every fucking thing else. And excuse my language, I apologize. But because of that, they're very dangerous, and I'm very gun shy, even around WCPD, because they have used. Ask my neighbors. The last time. Well, anyway, I won't go into that because it's really beyond the scope of this call. But I know I have friends that are cops, and other cops that are not even my friends have helped me. So I'm not an anti-cop, but I do know that some cops will kill you. For those little locker room envelopes, that not all cops are good. So in any case, I'm a little bit paranoid. I don't just blanket trust cops like people that watch a lot of TV do. So, nothing personal. I know there's mostly good cops, and those aren't the ones that worry me. Because you guys have guns, guns are sort of like cigarettes, only faster, and so I'm a little bit nervous because they just dropped. A friend of mine who's a chief told me, at one point I disarmed because of this whole child trafficking mess, and them knowing that I'm a marksman, they're a little bit nervous about me figuring out exactly who's behind this trafficking. They're all Jews and Italians, which are basically Jews that know how to cook. That's another thing that I've saw. In any case, I have a blog, and I've documented and even named names on the blog. You know about tinyurl?
No.
It's something that you can enter, tinyurl.com / and then some easy to remember name. So it's tinyurl.com. Are you recording this too?
No.
Okay. I record all my calls. I have to for defensive purposes. Let's see. If you go to tinyurl.com and type in / dragons paw, as in foot, dragons PAW, you can go to my blog and find, there's one, if you type in to Google, Committee to Waterboard Pelosi, Boxer, and Brown, you'll find the blog page where I think it's all on one page, where I actually go into great detail and name names as to who's involved. And there's some pretty big Walnut Creek family names. Now, it's a very sophisticated and layered cult. Hold on a second. So, in any case, I guess that also might be beyond the scope of this call, but at some point, I'm getting pretty close. There's so much information that happened. It's taken me a long time to sort of decompress, with these threats and having Boston brake jobs and narrowly escaping death. I'm a programmer, not a military person, so I'm not used to that shit. It's kind of nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
to say the least. So, and they also use military-grade psyops. And again, not being being a programmer and not a military person, it does grind you down. So, in any case, I am getting very close to having, and I've complained to the city, who sent me to the county, them being prosecutors, There's no prosecution area in the city level, correct?
In the city level, well, we've got a city attorney.
Okay, and he prosecutes criminal?
But as far as prosecution in Contra Costa County, that's all handled through the district attorney.
What about, like, at the city level? What about in Walnut Creek?
No, everything criminal is handled through the DA's office.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. Unfortunately, the Perfect Crime Network always controls the DA, and they are the Perfect Crime Network. So, in any case, I think I'd like to know why this person thought he could try to push, not only just check the door, he didn't drop his package and run. The same company has delivered, I buy from Amazon all the time. And they usually don't even ring the doorbell, frankly. Sometimes I'll hear them, or the dog will bark, and I'll get the package. This time, the person was behaving strangely, not the least of which was not just the pushing on the door, but also going back to his truck and being in a team.
Right.
So that was a first, especially with the pushing and testing the door. He's very lucky.
Sure.
So in any case, I think that's worthy of at least a phone call to Amazon, finding out why the hell he was doing that, and if he denies it, I think, well, I don't want to let's not presume anything. Why is this guy pushing on my door?
What I'm going to do, Tim, is I'm going to document this, just kind of explain everything that you told me and we talked about. And obviously, like I said, if somebody's trying to get into your home, you need to call us immediately. That way we can come out there and we can help you out.
You couldn't have got here the amount of time that it took you even to call me, he would have been gone. So I know I can't depend on the police, that I am my first line of defense. So I don't even
Sure.
think of calling the cops, because anybody that does that is a fool. Not that nothing bad against you. You guys have your
Yeah. I know. I know what you're saying. I know what you're getting at. I mean, okay. I'm telling you that to let us know as well. Obviously, you're going to be able to defend yourself before we are to get there to defend you.
Right.
But like I said, you need to call us as well.
Okay, yeah, that's why I called you. I did want this documented. But you're not going to find out. I mean, this is easily a suspicious search. Pushing on my door, he was testing, and had that bar not been there, he would have opened my door. And had he taken a step, I don't know if I'd have been waiting for two. I'm just a little bit nervous. So had he had anything in his hand besides the package, I don't know. I'm just a little bit nervous, for reasons that I've given. And
Sure.
I just want to be really clear.
How many weapons do you have in your home?
Enough to defend myself. I don't have a stockpile. It only takes one.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Hey, can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Do you feel like hurting yourself or hurting anybody else?
No.
No.
Well,
okay.
Somebody can.
I just want to make sure that you're okay, and obviously you're calling, and like I said, it'll be documented what we talked about, and to my knowledge, there hasn't been any other calls of people trying door handles in your area, your neighborhood. But I mean, it's not totally uncommon,
There are. This would not have been a random. The chance. Let me step back. These are just numbers. The odds of this being a random attempt at home invasion, they wouldn't use a delivery guy.
Yeah.
That's stupid. They wouldn't have a truck. The truck probably had a license plate. Unfortunately, it wasn't marked. They should have serialized on the outside so that you can easily identify the exact truck that was there. I would think that would be law. They shouldn't be able to send an unmarked white van, to your house like this. But, it did have a license plate, but I couldn't see the back of the truck.
Right.
So this whole shtick about, are you feeling like hurting yourself, the implications of that are kind of insulting, and you should be aware that this shit that's going on in this country right now, this treason with 9/11 and all this other stuff, this is what they did, the same crew did in Russia. The people that were smart enough, the people that had brain cells or an IQ that was higher than the Richter scale, they basically tried to say they were crazy. And they had even the good cops trained that anybody that said some of the stuff that their cult does, stalking and such like, they were trained to say that they were crazy. It was called, and they're doing this here too. This crew that snatches children out of the school, they have stalking crew, basically. The lower level cult, the really bad end of the cult, stalks you, and this includes fire department collusion. I don't think there were actual fire department people that did parts of this. And so when you say that to people, they use that. They do things so that when you repeat it, they can then diagnose you. This is all part of the game. And it's called punitive psychiatry. They did all this crap in Russia when they were overthrowing that country and killing they admit to killing 66 million Christians. It was probably more like 100 million. So everything that's happening in this country was called the Red Terror when they did this in Russia. They know, and they know I know, and I've been exposing them. So, yeah, they don't like me very much. I have above average IQ, and and I know Kabbalah. They're Kabbalists, essentially, and I've been exposing them online. So they've tried women. A friend of mine that's a chief had a Jewish bitch, Russian no less, come dancing into his life. She's probably going to kill him. That's how they operate. Infiltration. That is their number one skill set. So in any case, I'm really concerned about my friends. I'm not afraid to die. I'd rather avoid it, put it off as long as possible.
Well, I don't want that to happen, Tim.
Well, I'd like
So
that to not. I mean, I'm with you on that. Trust me.
I don't
But
want that to happen. So look, this is. I'm gonna make a note, and I'm gonna send an email out to do some extra patrols in your area and look for suspicious vans.
that's a
And just
total.
kind of explain what you told me.
That's a
Like I
total
said, I'm
waste
gonna
of time.
document what you talked about, and something like this happens, you need to call us right away.
Okay. Well, again, unless you were already in the neighborhood, that would have done no good. And since
Well, you don't know that. I mean, if let's say they didn't get in, and you called, and we're responding out there in a very, very fast manner because that's somebody trying to break into a home, and we see the van leaving the area, or we notify other surrounding agencies to be on the lookout for a white van with whatever the description was, or
uh-huh.
I mean, it's just I'm not saying 100% that they would be caught, but there's procedures for us that we take when something like this happens, and we do apprehend people that way.
Right. And this isn't a normal crime situation. These people are the perfect crime network. That was a normally scheduled. Okay, what if a police, for some reason, in fact, they were here not too long ago, right after I released this devastating information. And I don't know, I know I'm being censored. I can't tell how much, so I know the damage to them is being limited. But within 12 hours of releasing a video, I can't remember which one it was now, but it was pretty revealing. I've got cops at my door. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. This bitch rang my doorbell about 12 times, and I'm like, what the fuck? My dogs go crazy. And I look out the window, and it's the cops. I'm like, uh-oh. That wasn't a coincidence. That's never happened in the 30 years I've been here. So when you've got to worry about the cops, and my friend also, the chief that I told you about, at one point I disarmed because I knew they were very nervous because of all my knowledge and my skill set and my brain cells. And my friend, the cop, told me, oh, you'll have a gun. Trust me, you'll have a gun. So I fixed that. I mean, I didn't know our cops were so... And now I know. I mean, he's a cop, and he's a chief. So I trust him very well. He's been in law enforcement for 30 years, and he knows better than most cops. So in any case, I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place. When a cop can shoot you, which is what he said, you've got to be careful about, quote, those guys they send to your house, talking about cops. And I said, I'm not armed. What are they going to do? Just shoot me? Oh, you'll have a gun. So essentially what he told me is cops also have feathered within them, and if you're a good cop, and you sound like you are, you sound young, when the shit hits the fan, when they did this in Russia and the switch got flipped, all the good cops were killed, and military leaders. Obviously, they've got to get rid of them first. That's line one. So when the shit hits the fan, and eventually they will throw the shit against the fan financially. And you got to be very careful and make sure other cops know about this. I've created some videos specifically for cops, trying to educate them to not get killed.
Yeah.
So because that's what they do, and it's military too, not just cops, and it's good
Sure.
cops. They're mostly Italians and Jews that you got to worry about. So if you're Jewish, I'm sorry if you happen to be a good Jew. Again, I think
No, I'm not Jewish, so.
Okay, so those are the ones that you have to worry about. And good-looking babes, don't let that fool you. When I got one of my poisonings involved WCPD. They were just sort of ancillary to my poisoning, and this was this gorgeous blonde. Do you have some drop-dead gorgeous blonde cop on your force?
We do not.
Yeah, I thought, how hard would it be for somebody that has no limits on money to come up, and it's Masonic, essentially, and Masons control your upper CNC, command and control. How hard would it be for them to finagle some uniforms and a couple cars to appear to be WCPD? Not hard for this crew.
Probably not that hard.
Yeah. So I have no idea. It appeared to be WCPD. And it's kind of a funny story, which I won't bore you with. It's not very long, but yeah, it was the most beautiful cop I'd ever seen in my life. I'm like, shit, you're a cop. And I ended up getting poisoned. I mean, it was only intestinal. They usually, so far, they haven't done anything deadly. But I've been poisoned 3 times, besides the Boston brake jobs, if you happen to know what that is. But in any case, you know what a Boston brake job is?
No.
That's when they fuck with your brakes and you're driving along and suddenly go, oh shit, I have no brakes. And the last time they did it was in a 12,000 pound, actually both times they did it was in a 12,000, no, the third time was in my van. Where my
What do they call the Boston brake job?
You know, I'm not sure, but
the crooks in Boston were doing it or something? Or
maybe it was maybe it was a mafia trick from Boston. That's just a name that Glenn McDuff at Veterans Today, Sheriff Deaver, they've already started killing good cops, by the way. Sheriff Deaver in Arizona was murdered, and another sheriff candidate, J.T. Reddy, in Arizona was murdered by cops. So this is not something I dreamed up. It's already started. So if you get a meeting,
right.
If they call you to a meeting, make sure you're in the back row.
I will. I'll take all this information that you're telling me and I'll apply it to what I'm doing.
Yeah, just don't be an easy target. You know, don't be a soft target. That's all you can do. So in any case, you're not going to follow up with Amazon and say, why was your driver, who was your driver? So we can at least identify. I've been collecting names. I'm thinking about suing them for racketeering, although since Masons also control judges, it's kind of like pissing into a fan, or probably pissing your money into a fan, but still, it's very tempting because I know I have their whole network identified, how it works, just like the Russian mafia. This makes the Italian mafia look like Girl Scouts. They are extremely sophisticated. So
yeah, I mean, it just like I said, I'll make the police department aware of what's going on and what you told me, and then if they come back, you see them in the area again, call us up and request an area check for suspicious van or suspicious people in the neighborhood.
Well, what would have happened had you been here on the spot and you caught them? They said, "Oh, we were just delivering a package." I don't know what he's talking about.
Right. Well, I mean, it's worth checking it out.
Well, it's worth knowing the name. That's the only. At this point, they'll say we were just delivering a package, which is probably what they were doing. I'm pretty sure that's why it was this white. I'm pretty sure I do recall that Amazon's delivery service, because they have such a huge market penetration, they have their own delivery service now, and their vans are unmarked.
Right.
So that they have a perfect excuse for being here, and that's what they would have said, and there's been nothing you can do. I've had 12 people murdered in my social circles. My neighbor. And if you go to my website, the last time I reported this to a commanding officer in a lot of detail, including their child trafficking out of Acalanes. They trafficked my daughter. Both my daughters were drop dead beautiful. My wife was a Polish Jew, blonde hair, blue-eyed, and very pretty, and so my girls are very pretty. Well, they decided they wanted one, and they took her. They're using mind control. Do you know what MK Ultra is?
No.
Okay, well, that's something else you want to know about. If your commanding officers have blue eyes, it's very easy to detect. I didn't know what it was until years of research as to what they did to my daughters mentally. And they had dilated pupils along with my ex-wife. That's called mind control. And now, it was sort of odd when my blue-eyed wife and my blue-eyed daughter start showing up in tandem with dilated pupils. I'm going, what the fuck is going on? If it was just my daughter, I'd think, maybe she's doing drugs or something. But it was my ex-wife, too, behaving in totally inexplicable ways, in their own respective, manners.
Right. Hey, Tim, I don't mean to interrupt you, man, but I would love to chat with you. You seem like a really interesting and intelligent guy, but unfortunately, we are busy with other calls. So, like I said, if there's anything else that I can help you with from the incident today, like I said, I'm going to document it and, kind of just sit out a bolo for our department to be on the lookout for suspicious vehicles in that area. And if you see them again and they're trying to get in your house, you need to call us immediately, okay?
Okay, just to be sure on California law, if somebody comes in my house and is threatening, I don't need to wait for them to pull out a gun, do I? If they're in my house...
You need to
feel threatened.
in complete danger for your life and your safety, and you've got to tell them they need to yell, "Hey, get out of my house," and they don't, and then you can defend yourself accordingly.
Okay. So
Alright.
it's the same thing. If they come into your house, if they push their way into your house, then it is justifiable homicide, correct?
Essentially, if you're at home and someone breaks into your house, that's a home invasion.
Okay, so a home invasion is justifiable homicide, correct?
I mean, I'm not a district attorney, and how all that would go in court, but you're allowed to defend yourself if you're in fear of your life.
Okay. Well, as you can see, I am, and it's not for irrational reasons. So I will let you
call
go.
us. If somebody's suspicious in your neighborhood, call us first before you go out and take actions into your own hands. Okay?
Oh, I'm not going to go outside and take action. I don't answer my door unless it's somebody that I recognize.
Okay. Well, good. And just make sure you keep your doors and everything locked up, and
Okay, so you cannot call Amazon and find out who was at the door. To at least.
I mean, Amazon is a huge it's a company that covers the whole world. I mean, at this point, if they would have broken a window or done something a little bit more intrusive into your home, then a little bit more follow-up would, would be warranted. But at this point,
because they didn't break anything, they have to break something?
well, they've got to be appearing to force their way into your home. They didn't kick the door down or, anything like that, so.
True. I mean, you would have been here sooner had that happened with an ambulance. So,
right.
Yeah, I'd like to avoid that. I'm not a person that likes to kill. I mean, just check the gopher in my front yard. He's been there for about 5 years, and I can't bring myself to killing him. So I don't want to kill anybody, but trust me, I will defend myself.
Well, you have every right to defend yourself, Tim, and you have every right to do so. I just,
Okay.
just stress the importance of involving us to help you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you go listen to, they just murdered my dog too, by the way. So that's a little side thing that you might want to notate. I reported this to animal control, but I had reported 12 friends of my neighbor being murdered, and they basically, once you say it's the Jewish mafia, they don't want to have anything to do with it.
Hey, Tim, do you want me to give you the incident number for our conversation?
Yes, good idea.
Do you got a pen?
Yes, I'm recording this.
Okay, well, if you want to write it down or just
go ahead.
Recording, either or. It's 16-32290. 16-32290.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it.
All right, Tim. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye. Juvie word.
Come on.